Hello everyone. I hope all of you are doing really good. And this session is this session will be really helpful for CS and non-CS students. So let me wait a couple of minutes and then I will start actually recording this live. And if there is no viewers, I will still keep going and finish this live, and hopefully it will be recorded later on. So let me go ahead and discuss a little bit about this one. If you can hear me and watch the live stream well, then just you can send me a text that everything is going fine. So here we go. This session might be really helpful for you to understand your whole. It's actually not just the career guide. It's actually the complete guide for your whole life. I would rather say this one. So let's say you start at the age of 22, 25, 28, and then where you ends up, okay, you will have to have an ending, and how would you be ending your career? Okay, so this is a complete roadmap. It's going to be for you. Okay, so yeah, stick to this one, and I really hope it will be really helpful for you guys. So share this live as much as you can and spread the word. So let me share it for myself for now. Let me go ahead and share it on Facebook. Okay, so I've shared. You can also keep sharing. Here you go. So let me just start now, and I would not be waiting anymore. So complete career guideline for developer for CS and non-CS students, and it could be both or anyone. Okay. So what it is actually and what should we be doing? Let me go to the next slides. Okay. Let's see the actual guide now. So I would like to point out one note for you, is that there are a lot of options to choose from. Okay. But for now, for this video, I will be sticking with development for this video for now. Development career, not like there are other path, for example, becoming a security engineer, DevOps engineers, and all the other departments. So I will not be covering all of them, just focusing on the two primary criteria, two things, which is development for now. Okay, so let me go ahead and show you a few things here. So here we have options for CS and non-CS students. Okay, I think um, we have two options here. Competitive programming, you could choose a competitive programming, and you can choose just to be a good programmer, not and not become very good at competitive programming, because competitive programming has a very specific niche to develop your skills and career. So I have separated these two things completely separate. Okay, so competitive programming is something which would help you to achieve certain goals, where without being a competitive programmer, it would help you to achieve something else. Okay, and you really have two choices at the beginning of your career. You do not have a lot of options to choose from. So you either go with the competitive programming, or you either go with becoming a normal good programmer. Okay, so if you chose to become a competitive programming, what you can expect in coming days is that you can actually expect uh, that you would be working for a big international companies, or mid-level to big local companies of your country. So let's say you are very good at competitive programming, you have done a lot of competitions and you have earned some respect in the contest, and you have solved a lot of programming problems actually, then you could prepare for international big companies or the local mid to big level companies in your country as well. And with that kind of preparations, it would help you to join any kind of big companies actually. So people joining there are really good at programming, and they can solve almost any kind of programming problems. Okay, so they are actually good at problem solving. And programming, competitive programming doesn't just mean that programming, it comes with other things like algorithm, data structure. All those fundamental basics is very very much important and needed to become a very good competitive programmer. Okay, so if you chose this competitive route, you will have to prepare yourself that way. You have to learn algorithms, you have to learn data structure and um, other subject and concept, and you must be good at theories as well. And not just theory, you have to know how to implement your theories into a programming code. And then once you are really good at it, then you can focus on preparing for international companies out there. And also you can prepare for local meet and big companies actually. Okay, now what if you cannot become a really good competitive programmer, or you cannot afford to invest time to become a competitive programmer? So what you could focus next is that just go be a good at programming. Instead of becoming super good, you can just be just good as someone who can just solve a problem. You might take time to solve a problem, but you actually can solve a problem. So you become someone who can solve a problem even if it takes time. So you don't have to be super duper amazing programmer. So just a good programmer, it would work for you. And then uh, once you feel like you are really good at programming, and you can you know the fundamentals of the programming, then you could actually start developing your front end or front and back end on both development career. So you should start learning those backend and front end technologies. Okay, I would not go deep what technology you should learn. I would not say these or that or those. That doesn't really matter. Once you are good at programming, you can truly choose any kind of framework at any time. It would take you 3 5 days to convert yourself. It's that easy, to be honest. It's that easy. If you know one particular framework or coding technology, let's say you know Laravel, becoming a Node.js developer doesn't take much time. Becoming a Python developer doesn't take much time. So you have to know one programming language or framework, then it is it's actually a lot easier to become it's a lot easier to become any kind of developer. It can be anything. React, Vue, doesn't really matter. All you just need to be a good programmer, and then you learn one specific technology at first, and then you go with the flow. Okay, and you have another route is that instead of developing skills on backend and front end technologies and getting prepared for next step, you could become a freelancer as well with the development skill. While you are earning your development skill, you could switch to freelancing as well. So both of these two can come together, and you can start actually earning. Let's say you are very in need of money and you need to support your family, you could start freelancing, but I would have a very specific guide ahead. So stick with that. Do not just decide yet now. So if you chose your development career with let's say freelancing together, then you should be really really careful next. Okay, I will go ahead with these things a little bit later. So yeah, if you just become good at programming, you could just start earning or gaining skills on backend and front end. I would suggest to become both good at both. What next? So if you chose the competitive programming route, you have few things coming up here. You can prepare for international big companies for sure, and there are two types of companies who actually would be looking. One would be looking just your problem solving skill, how good you are at programming, how quickly, efficiently you can solve a particular problem. So you will need to be very good at this one. And there are other companies who not only look for your programming skill, they also look for the other technological skills. For example, if they are looking for a very good a React.js developer, that means that they need someone who are really good at React.js. On the other hand, they are really good at problem solving. So they are looking for both because they cannot afford to invest time in teaching you actually. So you need to be really good at it. Either you have a good amount of experience gathered yourself or working in some other company. So you need to be really prepared with the technological skills for these type of companies. When you these companies particularly require both the requirement, programming, problem solving, and also the development skills. They look for both, and the other companies doesn't look both. They just look how good you are at problem solving. So you could actually choose this route, and you are really good to go. I mean, you could join Facebook, Google, and all other big fan companies. Okay. So what next is that if you do not look for international companies, you could look for the mid and big level companies here in Bangladesh. And here you have to be really good at what you do. So, and then you would be really appreciated in our country, because we need workforce with good amount of skills, who can work all alone, or who can develop complex things. So you really need to be good at or skilled at what you do really do. And then you could actually start looking for a company once you have gained some amount of experience and skills on your topic. Let's say you became a React developer or a Laravel developer. Once you feel like you have done a very good job at learning and implementing some to-do project or pet project or hobby project, you should be doing some really professional project, even if it is your first project. So once you have done these things, you can look for a company or for an internship in local companies. So in those companies, you should be really focusing on how good the company is, how much they can challenge you and force you to learn advanced skills. So there are companies out there who are developing really good complex applications, and then those companies will really help you to become a very good developer at the end of the day. Because if you work for a company who doesn't have a lot of complex jobs or tasks, then you would really stuck at becoming still an intern. Okay, so what you should look for is a company who can challenge you and actually force you to learn advanced skills. Okay, so those company would be really really a great opportunity for you. So look for those companies. And if you are just good at programming, you have two options, I think. And one is that you could just become good what you do, and you can start doing freelancing and developing together. So let me cover up the backend and front end development. I'm not sure if it is listenable. So when you start with your backend and front end, what you could look for is that this one that I already told you. So let's say you have already looked for a challenging company and you have joined, then all you need to do is sharpen your problem solving skill, because you didn't do this in the first place. So you did not attend competitive programming much. So now once you are gaining and you are being forced to learn advanced skills, and then other than this you should be doing sharpening your problem solving skill. This is one of the other way to increase your skills other than just technology. So you become very good at problem solving, plus you become a very good at technological skill. Okay, now if you chose, okay, I have just gone back. So if you just chose a development and freelancing, then you need to be good at what you do, and then you need to be looking for challenging tasks in your freelancing. You need to be looking for tasks that will challenge you, that will force you to become a very good what you are doing currently. So you should not be choosing just to do task or normal same boring same type of job. So because there is no one to challenge you, that's why you have to challenge yourselves. You have to become very good developers. In order to become a very good developer, you have to start picking up the very good and advanced project, and only the advanced project can teach you the advanced technologies. Okay, otherwise you will be in an area where you would not want after a few years. Okay, so if you want to increment your skills, your salaries, your money, anything that if you want to increment, you have to look for these challenging tasks. Okay, and then it's not enough as well. You have to be very good at English and communication skill. Otherwise, it would be really really tough for you to do freelancing. So if you do not have a very good English skill and communication skill, I would not suggest to start freelancing. Okay, and what should you do after a few years actually? So after a few years, leave freelancing and join a company. Okay, do not decide yet. Hold on. So after a few years, you should be leaving freelancing because it's not a job. It's not a thing to do forever during your whole career. You should not be doing these things. Okay, so once you have spent like 4 or 5 years or 3 years or 6 years, maybe 7 years even, you should be leaving freelancing at some particular point of time. Okay, and once you leave the freelancing, there the last stage comes, and after 4 or 5 years or 4 to 6 years of experience, what should you be doing actually? So then the startup thing comes in. Okay, don't just start your startup without having proper knowledge and skill on domain specific. So I'm now covering up the technology, the development skill. So if you are a developer, you want to build your own startup as well. So don't just go ahead and build a startup without knowing what you are doing and how to operate it. So you have to learn these things first before you actually start burning your career. Okay, so once you come to this stage of life, you can start. You can do two things. You can become a co-founder of a startup. So there's a lot of founder who wants co-founder actually. So you can become one of them, and you can actually start from there. So you do not have to start everything from scratch. So what you can do is you can become a co-founder of a startup, and then company who just look for programming skills. And I think these two are not needed because I think I just copied these two things. Okay, so leave it for now. And the other one is build your own agency and startup. So if you do not become a co-founder on something with someone else, so you could start building your own agency and startup. And with the agency, you will have your cash flow going on, and then on the other hand, you can build your own startup. Okay, and when you build your startup, and one piece of advice I would give is that keep your pipeline always ready. And with the pipeline, I mean your resources. You have to have your resources in the pipeline available. The resources can be money, resources can be your time, resources can be your employees, colleagues, all those things that actually helps your agency and the startups. So if you have any question, go ahead, feel free to ask in the chat, and I will try to answer all of your questions. And at the end, no matter which route you choose, always be an entrepreneur. Okay, either by joining as a co-founder or building your own dream startup. That's what you need to do at the end of the day, because this is the only way to develop yourself, your community, and your country. Thank you for watching. Feel free to ask any question if you have. I will try to answer. So I will wait for a minute, and then I will close this one. Okay, I don't see any questions coming up, so I will close. Okay then. Thank you for watching. Have a nice time. Bye.